if you and I get in the car and I say, Whitney, we're getting in the car, we're leaving at 7:30 a.m., we're driving west, and we're going to take this highway. And that's all I've told you. I haven't even told you we're going to.
Yeah.
What's your first question? Where are we going?
Literally what I thought of is where we're going to sleep on the way because that time change is going to get me.
But think about, right? So you're already thinking, like,
Yeah.
if we
And
just
some
got in the
stops
car,
along the way.
even if I didn't
We
say,
could strategically stop.
but what if I didn't say California? What if I didn't say?
Oh,
we're going to
yeah.
California?
No, I
What
would have
if
to be like,
just
where
said-
the heck are we going?
Exactly. So if I just said, Whitney, grab a bag, jump in the car, and you grab
I'd be
a
like,
bag.
is it hot where we're going? Is it cold?
Exactly. Because if you don't
Yeah.
know where you're going, what happens to the trip?
You drive in circles.
Yeah. You didn't pack the right clothes. You're driving in circles. Everyone, and welcome to an edition of the Renew podcast. We are launching our 5th season, which is so exciting. I can't believe it's been
is.
5 years. Oh my God, 5th season. So we were doing podcasting before podcasting was cool. For all the people that started doing it during the pandemic, came on board, we were here first, but we are launching our 5th season. We are so glad that you're with us. And back with me, as always, is my fabulous co-host, the marvelous Miss Mendoza.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, hello. Welcome to season 5.
Well, welcome to season 5.
Thank you. I'm excited. This is fun.
Me too.
We're going to change it up. We're going to tick off a few people, rock a few feathers. Is that what we say? Ruffle a few feathers.
I
We're
think
gonna have some fun this
rock was
season.
appropriate.
Rock, because before we came on air, we were talking about rock music,
Yes.
all things rocking. So
We're going to rock feathers.
this is going to be a rocking season. We're going to rock it and have some fun with it. But today we are talking about, we're going to title this episode Ready to Launch. Because as we're sliding into the end of the year, getting ready for a brand new year, 2023.
The days of the countdown is on.
The countdown is on. For me, 2023, I've got 3 graduations this year. All of my girls are graduating from something.
Wow.
We got middle school, high school, law school that my girls are graduating from. So I think the Ready to Launch title is appropriate because I got them launching in all different directions.
I like it.
But I think with all of us, as we slide into the end of a season, the end of the new year, we've got an opportunity to launch into a new place. And that's really what I want to talk about today is what is going on with you guys right now that you're listening. What is it you need to change? What is it you might need to update or relaunch? Or maybe there's something you just need to get going on and launch things. So could be personal. It could be something you need to do in your personal life, professional, or financial. I like to hit all 3 of the areas. So as you're thinking about the end of this fabulous year, done with all the craziness of this 2022, what are you launching or renewing next year, Miss Mendoza?
So in an upcoming episode, we talk about intentionality.
Yes,
which I love.
Yes.
Being intentional. I do think and many people probably agree because as we're talking about resolutions, which we could debunk later.
Can we? Yeah, we're gonna debunk. Wait, let's pause for a minute and debunk that right now.
We're gonna do it now. Don't set resolutions.
Don't set resolutions because here's the thing. You're not gonna do it.
I knew we were gonna be on the same page of this.
I saw the best. I need to post it. I need to find it and repost it. It said something like, "I'm gonna open a gym." And for the first 2 weeks of the year, it's going to have exercise equipment. And after 2 weeks, we're swapping it out for a wine bar. I'm like, that I would sign up for. Sign my membership up now. So I will be launching the Renew Wine Bar and Exercise Facility coming soon.
Now I have to look up my quote that I saw. Because
But this is true. Like we think about resolutions and we all slide into the year. And when I say relaunch and renew, what I don't want you guys to do is to commit to something you're never going to do in the first place. Because I stopped with resolutions years ago because I had the obligatory, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to do all the things. I did all the things for like a minute and then I was done, especially with the gym, right? Did you find your quote?
No, but I found another one.
Oh, Lord. Here we go.
I got to find. This is not the quote I was looking for, but it does say, New Year's resolution to tolerate fools more gladly, provided this does not encourage them to take up more of my time.
Oh,
That
okay.
is not the quote I was going for.
No, because that's not. We are not. The resolution I will keep is I'm not tolerating fools this year. I haven't been tolerating fools for a couple. I think it's been a couple years now that I've gotten rid of the fools. Don't you think? I think we exited some
It's good.
fools.
We did.
We intentionally removed them from my world.
I wish I could find it, but it was essentially along the lines of those who set New Year's resolutions. Number one, you're kind of sort of setting yourself up for failure, and thus it's a foolish move. Is basically that's where the word fool came in. But it was essentially the quote is saying it's a foolish move to try to set a New Year's resolution, because in a sense you're kind of sort of setting yourself up for failure. It's not a good thing to do.
Here's the thing: I think with resolutions, so many people look at things they feel like they need to do, as opposed to what they want to do, or as opposed to thinking about what's going to move me in the direction of what I want life to look like. So I had, as we're looking at renewing for the year and relaunching and really kind of shifting what we're doing now, I had this conversation with a private coaching client of mine actually yesterday, and she is amazing and so gifted and so talented and really on the verge of some great, great, great things. But she tends to focus backwards a little bit. Well, I did this or I don't. So everything was coming, not everything, but a lot was coming from lack. I don't want to do this or I don't want to do this. And you're thinking too far in the past. And if you're not going that way, so quit looking that way, right? So what I want to focus on today is what can we all do to get in the mindset of, all right, let's reshape this. Let's figure out what the heck we want 2023 to look like and say no to everything else that isn't that, or that isn't moving us in that direction.
Yes.
So if you want to lose 10 pounds, cool. What the heck are you going to look like at the end of that? What's it going to take to get there? Don't just say, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week, because you're not. I mean, look, if you're sporting an extra 50, 60 pounds, which not faulting you, been there, right? And you don't work out at all, to say, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a week isn't right.
Yeah.
Do you need to? For sure. But set something realistic. Like, hey, you know what? I want to feel good. I want to have a little bit more energy. I'm going to just try to move my butt off the couch a couple times a week. That's kind of where I start. Because you guys that listen a lot and have been with us for all these 5 years know I am not an exercise person. I try. And
I don't find it fun either.
I don't find it fun, right? I really
It's
don't.
not fun to me.
So for me, right? And you guys remember, those of you guys, the longtime listeners are going to remember when I did the 75 hard, and I was ripped by the end of it. I was looking at some pictures the other day that I pulled out. I was like, dang. I know. I think I'm going to just print out a life size one and just hold it up in front of me, because I looked at the pictures at the end of it. I was like, okay. But what was interesting is, here's what made me think of it. I loved the way I looked at the end of that 75 hard. I've gained it all back, but that's because I quit doing the things that got me there.
Yeah.
But what was inspiring to me was not the resolution to say, I'm going to work out 2 times a day. I'm not going to have alcohol. I'm not going to do that. It was how I looked. So what inspires me now thinking about it isn't going, I'm going to go to the gym 3 times a day. I'm going to do this. It's looking at that picture going, all right, what do I need to do today to get back to that? Or what move is what I'm doing right now moving me closer to what I look like there that I was inspired by, or, me being chubby on the other end. Whatever it is you're moving either towards or away from your goals with every decision you make.
Yeah.
And that's why, I feel like as we look at renewing and figuring out what we want life to look like, that's what we've got an opportunity to do. You can paint it however you want. I've had clients of mine in a year, their life is drastically different than it was before, but it honestly is because they freaking decided it was going to be different.
Exactly.
They were just done.
Well, I think that's a great point, and kind of where my thought was going with the no resolutions is the holidays is a good time to look at what you want the next year to look like, and make a intentional plan for that. I also always love the sentiment of start small, right? Often, like working out. If I go work out on Monday, it makes the workout on Tuesday much easier.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like just do the one day, and then you can do
and that's the thing. I think if we look at, okay, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for the rest of my life, and that's for those if you don't like to work out. Now, I have some friends that are workout fools and love it and get their energy from it. And I'm sitting there going, unless you are chasing me, I am not running. I used to have a magnet on my car that said 0.0, because everybody has those like 26.2 and mine says 0.0, and underneath it said I don't run. And then
Yes.
I had to start running because I had to run when I was still competing in martial arts. We had to do all of our black belt testing started with a 5-mile run or 3-mile run. Stupid idea for a test, but we had to do it. But anyway, you do it when you have to. But what I'm talking about with resolutions, we're not going to call them that. We got to come up intentional stuff. I'm talking about the things you want to do.
Yep.
And you're not doing it because you have to, but you're doing it because you like where it's pulling you, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I like your thing about one day at a time, though.
Well, literally had this thought.
Literally. You sound like my teenager. I literally had a thought.
So I was like, I'm going to go to bed earlier.
Okay.
Right? This was like 9 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, if I start now, I'll be in the bed by like 9:15, 9:30. But I had made, which, again, bad habit, I'd kind of sort of worked up until like
You kind of, sort of.
8:30.
She
So-
totally worked up until 8:30, didn't she?
So my mind didn't have that time to process between stopping work and going to bed. And so then I'm like, you know what I need?
Caffeine.
No.
Okay.
I'm just going to lay in the bed and look at social media to relax my mind for like just some mind numbing, like just
Yeah.
for a minute so that I can, and granted, I do the things that I look at
Yeah.
has curated my feed to be like an uplifting,
Yeah, mine's
positive,
same.
whatever.
Yeah.
And so literally I was watching this, watching this video and I'm like, you did no action to put you to the thing that you just said that you wanted to do, because
Yeah.
the next time I look at the time, it's like 10:15 and I've wasted an hour when I should have been trying to go to sleep. But I didn't do, like I
You
knew
didn't do
that
what you needed
though.
to do.
I didn't do the activity that would have set me up for success to actually go to bed when I said I was going to.
So I'm going to take this a different direction
Okay,
with
go.
that example here.
Okay.
My question isn't why did you scroll so short? My question is you need to ask yourself, or declarative statement here.
Don't work till 8:30.
No, it's not
Oh.
even that. Is going to bed at that time really important? Because here's the deal. If something was that like burning, frigging important to you,
You would do it.
You would do it.
You would do it.
So I think so many times in the challenge I have with resolutions and things like that, and even some goals, like I challenge
Yeah.
a lot of my clients on their goals because I'm like, tell me why. They'll say, I'm going to do this. And my first question is, tell me why. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you can't, but just tell me why. And if I don't hear it, and it's interesting when I have somebody describe their goals, if they're like, oh yeah, I don't know. If their voice doesn't go up, they're not bought in. Or if I say, tell me what you want, next year. This client I was talking about the other day,
yeah.
she's amazing. I was like, tell me what you want next year to look like. I want it to be great. I want it to be wonderful. I'm like, okay, tell me more. What does that look like? And I kept going deeper
Yeah.
and deeper. It's like, tell me, describe it to me. Describe it to me where I can picture it in my head. And the second, if I'm working with a client, because a lot of mine's over the phone, they're all over the country. So if I'm working with a client, the second their voice goes up and it gets higher, I know they're bought in. I know they're like, this is important. And I'll tell them, I'm like, you just got excited. That's the first time I've heard you excited. And that's the goals they'll stick with.
Yeah.
Because so many people, like, I'll work with clients. I'm like, tell me, what are we going to do in 2023? Well, I want to at least make $1 million. I want to hire 2 more people. I want to do this. Oh, and I really want to go to Italy. And that's how it sounds when they're telling me their goals.
Yeah.
So which one of the things you think they're going to follow through with? The making $1 million, the hiring 2 people, or the planning for Italy?
Trip to Italy.
Because that's where they got excited. So my question to you would be like, you can go to bed at 8:30, 9:30, 12:30. It doesn't matter. But what matters is if it's really important. Because if it's not important, let's face it, we're not going to do it. That's why I think resolutions for most people are a bunch of crap, because they just throw things on a sheet of paper that sound good.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
I don't care if it sounds good. I care if it feels good.
Yeah.
I care if it matters to you. And that was the same thing with like working out the last year, because I'm not where, I loved how I look at the end of 75 hard, but I made intentional choices not to work out as much as I should have the last year. But I was replacing it with things that were important, with trips, with times with friends. And that's not an excuse. It just, that wasn't as much of a priority for me last year.
Yeah.
Will be this year, because
Yeah.
it is important to me now. But I think you got to evaluate that. Like, what are we doing things because we should? Or are we doing things because it's important?
100%. I think that's as I was doing burpees yesterday at
As you were
Orange-
doing burpees.
Orange Theory. I was like, why do I put
Burpees is
myself-
not on my list.
They're
Ever.
They're not that great. But if I didn't make the plan to go to Orange Theory because is it cheaper to use another gym? Absolutely. Or work out from home? Absolutely. But having that commitment to schedule a time and go,
Yep.
be around other people, and it kind of makes it a little bit fun, like a little
There's a
bit
social
fun.
aspect to it.
But that's almost like my thing for me because I know, okay, I'm paying for this. I'm signing up for class because they actually charge you if you sign up and don't go, which is genius. That is the thing that makes me go
Makes you
work
accountable.
out. And absolutely.
So you're talking
And do
about the
burpees.
how and the accountability, right? So those are big things. And I'd say this all the time. I am a strategy and accountability girl all day long. The how and the accountability are big, right? But that comes after the vision, what you want it to look like. And I think so many people, when it comes to resolution and goals and resetting and renewing for the year, they go straight to the how and the what, the thing, as opposed to here's what I want it to look like. So what my challenge to you guys listening is, what the hell do you want next year to look like? What do you like? So it's not, I'm going to Orange Theory. It's like, hey, I got these pair of pants that look hot and I'm going to rock them. I mean, that's what motivates us. Is I know you got a dress in your closet or somewhere you're like, oh, I'm going to rock that dress, right? Yep. That's the thing. I'm in a girlfriend of mine's wedding in January, and I'm like, I really want it because she is stunning, and I really want to just look good in the pictures, right? So we all have those things, and those are okay. But do that the what and the accountability comes after that, and I think we spend too much time there and not enough time figuring out what the heck do we want life to look like, which is why we're busy, which is why, we're going to talk about hustle culture and all that type of stuff coming up. But that's why we spend all the time in the wrong places, because we aren't tuned into what's important to us.
We can almost, kind of going back to having something to hide behind, right?
Yeah.
We can be really smart with the resolutions and be really specific of this is what I'm going to do.
Yep.
But to your point, if it's not something that we're passionate about and focused on, it's not going to last past January 3rd.
Yeah. And most of the things that we set as goals are the goals we think we need to set. Like I am looking right now to buy a new house at the end of next year and to take an amazing trip to Italy. Those are the two biggest things I really want to do this next year. Right? And those are the ones that my voice goes up, I get excited, I get jacked. I walked into a friend of mine's house for my Bible study group yesterday, and I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my God, I had all these design ideas because that was exciting to me, right? And I met with a friend of mine for lunch the other day, and they had just got back from Italy, and she's telling me all the that was exciting. So that's what I need to focus on. The how will happen, because if everything I do, if I really push on prospecting and I really grab 2 more coaching clients, that'll pay for this. Or if I, book 5 speaking engagements, that means that I'll have this. That's what we need to do, is tie it to how the hows and the whats and the accountability, how they affect the house I want to buy, how they affect the trip to Italy I want to take. That's what we have to look at. But I think so many times, and that's why resolutions fail, is because we look at the thing, not at the result. And so I want everybody listening to really start thinking about, okay, what's it look like? We don't take enough time to do that. We get so freaking busy, which is why we're going to talk about hustle culture coming up, because we get so freaking busy that we lose sight of the cool stuff. I mean, we're not put here to work and die, right?
Exactly.
Have some fun while you're doing it. What's it look like?
Well, and I love how you kind of tied action with result as well, because that can help make those less exciting actions a little, gives them purpose, right, and can help us push through that on those days that we need to. It's
more fun. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a business strategist, performance coach. If I'm talking to you every couple weeks and all I'm doing is going, what did you do? How did you do it? What did you do? How did you do it? It gets really boring, and I'm a professional nagger, right? So my goal as a coach is to tie people to, why are you doing this? What does this matter? And so my private clients will tell you, they laugh all the time, because I always start with, I'm like, well, tell me what was fun. What are you having fun doing? And that's what I want to know, because that's what'll help. There's a million different business strategies to grow a business, but I always start with, tell me what you had fun. What's exciting? And then I do tell them, tell me what's bumming you out, or tell me what's bringing you down. We usually need to get rid of those and focus on more of the exciting strategies. What's interesting is we all know what we need to do. We just don't do it. We kind of go to the things that we think we're supposed to do as opposed to what's really going to help us, right?
So that's a good segue, and I'm going to brag on you a little bit.
You are.
In the Renew community.
I'll take it. No, I'm just playing. No.
Well, so we were just talking about this the other night of I want more fish in my pond of opportunity, right? Yeah. So how do you get that? Finding good things to be involved with. That means getting out of your comfort zone, going to things like networking.
But being intentional with
it.
Yes,
and community, because it's why I enjoy the Renew community. It's not your typical gathering, right? It's not your typical event. It's not your typical group. And so I would encourage listeners to find something like that to be a part of. Again, if that's part of your goal, if you have your own business or, you know, if part of your role within your company is you need to meet people to make a sale or make connections, whatever that looks like for you, you have to find new people to be involved with. And I mean, I can attach a string from revenue back to the community just through people that I've met. And it will come naturally if you get plugged in the right group.
That's what, well, thank you, first of all, for that. Because I do, I mean, obviously I see the numbers, the Renew community. For those of you guys that don't know, we expanded our coaching to have a whole nationwide community. And it's, I mean, the men and the women in this group are friggin' rock stars. And what I've been very clear from the beginning, this is not for everybody. It is not, I don't want a gazillion people. I want people who are bought into each other's success. But our group here in Atlanta, we have groups in other cities as well. Our group here in Atlanta, we get together in person. And what's fun for me as having founded the group is that you guys love on each other. And we all do. Yeah. Like everybody is truly bought into everyone's success.
If you miss a meeting, somebody's
texting you, where are you? You know, and it's funny, and it's not even formal stuff. We just get together and talk about business. I help coach them through some challenges they're having. But it's been fun. For me, it's super fun to watch because yes, while the revenue is coming, and I know because I track it, how much revenue everybody's getting, and it's been a lot in a short period of time. But what's even more cool to me is everybody's having fun. And I think, that goes back to the whole thing with resolutions is we get away from fun and what brings us joy, and we default back to the things we think we're supposed to do or we were told or the boring, monotonous stuff. I mean, our group, we just have fun. And we bring in stuff. I mean, I bring in strategies and speakers that are truly going to help people. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a lot of people that are having fun, that like each other, that support each other, that collaborate, that cheer them on. It's just cool, right? And I feel if you guys, the one resolution I would make, if you don't have a group, find a group, make a group, do something. Call us, come join us. But as long as you're cool, we only take the fun, cool people. But it's the growth mindset that helps us move in that direction.
Well, I think that speaks to as well, going back to making a resolution because you feel like it's something that you have to do. Yeah. We all have to make money and do the tasks that lead to that and paying bills, but that speaks to being able to do it in a different way. Think outside the box of how can I accomplish the same thing that I both want and need, but maybe it's in a different way.
Well, and I would challenge people that think it has, the paying the bills and we got to pay bills. I'm going to challenge y'all to pay your bills because I don't want paying for you. But
it is a challenge.
We associate, I feel like, for so many of us, we associate career, work, and everything with work. We have to work at it. I really honestly believe that if you use the gifts God gave you and you're doing, really follow those nudges, you can love what you do. I absolutely love. Are there days I'm stressed? For sure. Are there days where, I don't really have a ton of difficult clients because I'll fire them, but there definitely is challenge. There's a challenge in building a business. I've had my practice for 13 years. It certainly has had ups and downs, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I genuinely love it. I love the people I work with, and even if you're in corporate America, you can find that. There are companies and cultures out there, and if you don't like it, you're not actually the same client I was talking about. She said that her dad or sister or somebody said that if you don't like it, you're not a tree. You're not planted. Get up and move. So look at that. I mean, maybe the resolution, or I don't want to say resolution, the intentional change you need to make next year as you renew things is looking at your environment. Is your career giving you what you want? Does it look the way you want it to? Are the people in your life, do they look the way you want it to? Are there some people that need to be strategically exited?
Yeah.
Yeah. Burn some bridges. We ride at dawn. Here we go. Right? I mean, there's some people and things and companies that aren't meant to be with us for our whole lives.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So when you think about going into next year and with I won't put you on the spot with maybe I will. I don't know.
Okay.
Like, do you automatically go to thinking about the things, or do you have the vision of like, here's what I want, Whitney 2023 to look like? Where do you go to first?
Yeah, I think I lean toward the result of what I want it to look like.
Yep.
And then back up from there on how I get there. I think probably what I can work on is backing up to those steps. So, for example, if the whole reason I'd like to go to bed earlier is to be able to feel refreshed when I get up in the morning.
So that's your goal, feeling refreshed.
Yeah, so my goal is feeling refreshed, which means it's possible for me. I do like to get up early. I'm kind of an early riser, and that's just where my energy is. But again, in order to do that, that means it actually starts the night before, which is going to bed at a decent time.
Yeah.
But then it continues to back up of, well, for me to be able to do that, my mind's got to be relaxed, which means I can't work to 8:30.
Yeah.
So sometimes I don't back up far enough to think about the process of actually it doesn't necessarily start with when you get up or when you go to bed. It's also those activities that happen before that.
Yes. And we want to also not just back up, but we want to think forward.
Yes.
So I want you to start thinking about, and everybody listening to think about, what does it look like when I hit this? So instead of focusing on lack, instead of focusing, I'm tired, I stay up too late, I don't have energy, focus on what it's going to look like and assume you're already there. I am super energetic. I'm up at 8, by 6, I'm this, I'm that. Talk it into existence. I know that sounds woo-woo, and y'all listening, I'm going to get some, I'm going to get some emails because Miss Strategy Girl, every time I go woo-woo, people, I know exactly who's going to comment too, because we know exactly the emails I get and from who when I start going woo-woo. But it really is that. Like, I'm starting to realize that because I fought the woo for the longest time, right? I'll fight foo all day long, but the woo-woo I was against.
That's a shirt. Don't fight the woo.
Don't fight the woo, right? It's just like the woo fighters. Is that a copyright infringement?
Fantastic.
We have to call Dave Grohl and see if we can use
He'll be
that. The
fine.
woo fighters. But I didn't fight it, but I'm embracing it more now because I'm realizing the tie. They're not mutually exclusive. And, we have Erin, my friend, who's a mindset coach, and she helps a lot with that. And we've had her in to speak to our Renew community before. And we kind of tease each other because I always go to strategy. But I will say the last couple years, blending the two has helped because you've got to really know, you've got to be able to vision what you want it to look like. But then you've got to talk that way because we'll vision all day long. And people will say, oh, I want this, I'm going to do this. And then they're like, well, last year this or this prior client this. And then I'm like, well, now you're back here. So let's start our year. Let's renew our year by thinking about, here's what it's going to look like. Here's what the end of 2023 Kristen looks like. Because I got a really good-looking little black dress we're going to rock. So, right? If I'm going to Italy, might as well go looking good.
Yeah.
So what are the things I need to do to make that happen? To speak it into existence. That's getting all woo-woo. Speak it into existence, Whitney.
Okay.
Right? So start thinking about, okay, I'm super I'm up and going every morning early. I'm excited. I'm not tired. You may be. Just talk it until it becomes true. Now, with that, so this is where I always had the challenge with woo-woo.
Yes.
Because the whole manifestation, which I totally believe in now because I have had some really cool stuff happen that I'm like, oh, look at you, God. Go God. Right? But it feels like the manifestation, but at the same time, you can't just say, it's just going to happen. You have to do the things, right? So you still got to have the activities and the accountability, but you've also got to know what you're driving towards.
Exactly.
So my analogy is always like, if we're taking a trip to California, right? We're taking a road trip. If you and I get in the car and I say, Whitney, we're getting in the car. We're leaving at 7:30 a.m. We are driving west. And we're going to take this highway. And that's all I've told you. I didn't even told you we're going to. What's your first question? Where the heck are we going?
Literally what I thought of is where we're going to sleep on the way because that time change is going to get me.
But think about, right? So you're already thinking, like,
Yeah.
if we
And
just got in the
stops
car,
along the way.
even if I didn't
We
say,
could strategically stop.
but what if I didn't say California? What if I didn't say?
Oh,
we're going to
yeah. No, I
what
would have
if
to
I
be like,
just
where
said,
the heck are we going?
exactly. So if I just said, Whitney, grab a bag, jump in the car, and you
I'd
grab
be
a
like,
bag.
is it hot where we're going? Is it cold?
Exactly. Because if you don't
Yeah.
know where you're going, what happens to the trip?
You drive in circles.
Yeah. You didn't pack the right clothes. You're driving in circles. Probably going to run out of
It's
gas.
like the analogy. No, well, that's a different story. I was like, if you were like, hey, we're going to go skiing, and then it'd be like snow skiing or water skiing.
Right. It was exactly the same thing. You can't prepare if you don't know where you're going.
Yeah.
You can't prepare what you're going to need. So you can't prepare the skills you're going to need, that you're talking about reading book, the skills, the thought, the knowledge, the people on your team. If you don't know where you're going, you can't prepare any of that. If you don't know where you're going, you can't map out the time frame it's going to take you. You can't map out the activities. You can't map out who you want to put in the car with you, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm road tripping to California and I know we're camping versus staying at the Ritz, the passengers I'm putting in my car are way different.
You'd leave
right?
me for camping, right?
Oh, you'd leave me too. I wouldn't go. I've got to bring
Somebody
like
else.
Mia
Yeah.
and somebody else. Like,
No, somebody else
right?
gonna go on
But
that
think
one.
about that. So,
Yeah.
so many of us do this. So many of us go, okay, I'm going to set my resolution. I'm going to set my goal for next year, and I'm going to do X. I'm like, okay. And X is a
Good point.
thing. It's not a destination. They set the thing. They said, I'm going to set my cruise control at 65.
Yeah.
That's my thing, right? Or 75 or however fast you want to go, right? But they never talk about where they're going. So that's what I want everybody to do as you're going into this new year, as you're looking for that, is what's your destination? And describe it to me like you were writing a movie script. Describe it to me where I can vision it and see you in it, right?
Okay. I love that.
So
Write your
instead of
movie
going
script.
to Italy, like, here's the place I'm going. I found this super cool village in Tuscany. I've got this little outfit. We're going to do a cooking class. I want to go to a winery, and then I want to just drink wine, and then I'm going to have this massive bowl of pasta and follow it up with some pizza, right? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, the community, the same thing with the Renew community. I've talked about this in the community. My vision is I want 250 of the most killer rock stars in Atlanta in our community, and we are picky. Trust me, the people in it, they aren't letting people in if they're not growth minded and abundant thinkers. But I want 250 people, and we are going to crush businesses and have so much freaking fun doing it. Right? That's the vision. The things I do every day, the phone calls I have to make, the emails I send out, the marketing stuff we do. That's the how-to. But what we get excited about is where we're going, the destination.
Yeah.
So think
true.
about that as we go forward into the year. Because I think that's what people miss, don't you think?
Agreed. I love your analogy of write your own movie script.
Well, and that's the thing is, when I say write a movie script, I mean describe it. Describe it like most people go, I want to do X. And it's boring, right? Nobody wants boring. Life is too short to be boring. I was boring for the first 5 decades of my life. I am 50s, 60s, 70s. We're going to have non-boring Christian. We're having some fun, right? Because it's too short. There are too many crazy things happen in this world, which we are also going to get to on an upcoming episode. But there are too many crazy things happening to fill your world with things that are less than freaking cool. I like it.
Awesome.
We're going to be visioning. Whitney and I are going to go do some vision work. I like it. I've already done mine. I did my planning a couple months ago, so I'm super freaking psyched about what I've got coming up this year. This is exciting.
I mean, I've seen some of the topics too. I had a little sneak peek. I'm excited about
It's
this.
exciting. It's exciting. So, all right, Miss Whitney, thank you for being with us again.
Of course, always.
You guys, thank you for being back for our inaugural episode of season 5. We got some really cool stuff planned and some amazing stuff. And as always, we're trying to help you grow personally, professionally, and financially. But most importantly, we want to help you reclaim your life without losing your edge. So we hope you will join us again next week for another episode of Renewed. In the interim, have a fantastic